I don't know.
But you'll see like one thing that hits, right? Like there's a lot of these like mill influences out there, and like we said, I like a lot of these folks. There are some maybe in Marine uniforms, which I'm not sure why you're in uniform, that I absolutely cannot stand.
I don't know
Like
either.
the green screen in uniform thing. Ugh. Like,
Yeah.
well, it's Kagan Dunlap. I don't like you. Um,
Just
but like if you put,
unnecessary strays.
I mean, he's probably a nice guy. I just cannot stand his content. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but like if something gains momentum and like people see it, like this is the influencer game, right? Like somebody puts one thing out, it gets hits, it gets views, it gets momentum. Like everybody jumps on the same bandwagon. So just because you see the momentum of a storyline, of a point of view, doesn't mean that that's the reality of the entire situation. Like that's all of social media. You know, like
Mhm.
when I was growing up, I was always told like 3% of the population makes a difference between us going left or right as a
Mhm.
country, right? It's not that many people screaming about things, but those are
Right.
the people, like those are the people steering the direction of the conversations and the narratives into certain places. And then what do we pick up, right? Like, and I keep talking about this, the algorithm of the natural human is negativity. And so I'm not saying that there's not problems. I'm not saying that there's not problems within the Air Force. I'm not saying that joining today is a good or a bad idea based on your personal beliefs. I'm just saying it's probably a little more nuanced than we'd like to think it is.
Well, it's going to be good and it's going to be bad because, just like there are some bad things that are going on that we don't talk about out in public circles a whole lot, and those don't get the attention that they should, right? But the same can be said for a whole lot of good things. There's a whole lot of awesome things that people, and by the way, there's a middle ground as well. I don't know how many friends I've had that have gotten in, gotten out, went on and did something else. And they're literally just like, yeah, I mean, it was a chapter. Like, it wasn't super intense. It wasn't super bad. It wasn't good and whatever either. And it was just a thing that I did and went. Like, there is a whole range of experiences that you're going to have in the military and in the Air Force specifically. And, the good stuff very rarely gets put out there because in the zeitgeist and in the culture that it is, the good stuff is just as open to getting made fun of. Like people can do things for completely altruistic and genuine purposes. They can just do nice stuff, right? Somebody's going to make fun of that person. And usually somebody making fun of that person is pretty funny. And then it's just as bad. Like, it becomes cringe to do these things, whatever else.
Yeah.
And that perpetuates an entire cycle of people not telling you about the good stuff and yada, yada, yada. But there's going to be a huge range of stuff all the way from, some people are completely justified in saying joining the Air Force, it was a terrible decision. I shouldn't have done it. It was a bad organization for me to be in. Hey, man, you might be completely right. On the other side of the coin or at the other end of the spectrum, there are people that are like, it changed my life. I love it. I wear my Air Force retired hat and I tell people about the Air Force every chance I get. And yeah, some stuff was bad, but it was like campy bad. We made fun of it and we laughed about it. We're like, oh, it rained today. Oh, life sucks.
Air
But
Force
there's going to be a
problems.
whole range of stuff in between there. And it's not to take away from either side of that spectrum. I don't want to take away, the validity of some people that had horrible experiences inside the Air Force or, even worse, lost their life. We have friends that are no longer alive, which I think is the worst possible scenario for, joining the Air Force. And I have friends that it is legitimately all they talk about. It is no kidding when we talk. And, when I make those connections with those folks that have now retired, they're like, man, it must be awesome. I miss it so much. I can't believe that you're still in. And, if there's one thing that I miss, it's being in the Air Force. And even I'm like, you wish you were still in? Are you okay, buddy? Is everything going okay with you?